Hi, Dawn. This is Wendy Nixon. I wanted to respond to your post. Thank you so much. It was very well written. Your opening statement was very strong, and I think a good statement. Without proper organization, the volunteers only contributed to the turmoil. So I think that's an excellent starting point to make the point that really organization is key to dealing with times of disaster. Obviously, there's a lot of chaos going on. People need leadership and help and organization to help begin to put their lives back together and make sense of things. As to me, is a common sense point. Our class resource that we use for the discussion board, the Santa Clara County publication by their public health department there, I noticed does warn about using volunteers who just show up, and to be very wary of that. The volunteers involved with the family centers, from the description of the program, go through training, and they assess, I guess, also the vulnerability of the volunteers who may, are assessed for issues, trauma in their lives, dealing with issues, recent deaths, things like that could make them potentially open to compassion fatigue and things like that. So I think that was a very good point. Excellent. The family centers also, I know the program description and what we read about the family centers talks about working in conjunction with FEMA's NIMS structure, the National Incident Management System, which I know we learned about very early on in our class. So to me, combining those would really maximize the structure provided to be able to respond to disasters. Also, I discovered an article that I really enjoyed. It was about actually kind of a mass migration of residents from Puerto Rico to the United States during Hurricane Maria in 2018, and that it's called a community health center blueprint for responding to the needs of the displaced after a natural disaster, the Hurricane Maria experience. Pack et al. 2018. So what they did to respond to an influx in the Fairhaven, Connecticut community, the Fairhaven Community Health Center, which is a federally qualified health center, really set up a system that was excellent. They came up with a plan to process the influx of residents, and they were, of course, they were Hispanic too, so that there were cultural considerations. But so they provided psychological first aid to the residents, to the immigrants, and also assessed for potential further therapy needs, medical needs, and assessing for their needs to access other resources, financial resources, or just other things in the community that they could access through social services. So what they did is they set up an evening clinic that had a social worker, a behavioral health, mental health person, and two medical people to help, I guess, assess their total needs. So that was interesting to have that, very quickly set up that kind of structure in a community where the disaster did not actually occur, but they received a large number of immigrants. And the study also said that Fairhaven has a Hispanic population of approximately 27%, so over a fourth are Hispanic, which would, I think, assist with the cultural sensitivity. our resource, the Santa Clara County Public Health publication, talks about accessing information from various community leaders of different cultures to really, and more in a consultation role, but I believe that we've talked in class in some of our discussions, collaborates about also using community leaders to actually participate in helping, to reach out to the people that need help. So, and also, grieving individuals must be handled with incredible care, is another point you made. And I think that that was a very important point. I discovered that my community, Red Cross and emergency management, through their interviews with them, that they actually contract with local providers, mental health providers, to provide services for psychological first aid and the further needs, rather than train volunteers to do that. Even though psychological first aid is pretty simplistic, listening, empathetic listening, but they still choose to contract with local providers, which, ensures a quality of care and a quality of service. So, anyway, thank you so much, Dawn, for your post, and take care. Many blessings.